Greetings from the African Union Commission. Industrialization and innovation remain key drivers in achieving Africa's Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. According to the African Development Bank, Africa is at the bottom of the global value chain with its share of global manufacturing at about only 1.9%, and most economies still rely too heavily on raw commodities. Building women in industry and innovations, resilience to global challenges and emerging crises has potential to turn around the narrative of the socio-economic development of Africa. In my view, Africa's unique and greatest asset is people, and we should maximize the development opportunities that are presented through various segments of our population, of which women represent over 55% of this population. Women are the cornerstone of our socio-economic development, providing approximately 70% of agricultural labor and produce. Whether they are raising children, running families, businesses, markets, networks, communities, or promoting peace, women are critical catalysts for meaningful change on the African continent. We mean it. If you empower a woman, you empower a nation. More than 2/3 of jobs in Africa are now originating for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and there are many innovations taking place across the continent. It is therefore important to build resilience to global challenges and emerging crises for women in industry and innovation through capacity building initiatives and institutional arrangements that facilitate business development, incubation, and acceleration, and enable women actors effectively participate in the industrial economic zones. We should therefore promote technology transfer and uptake and access to funding, particularly venture capital and markets for women in industry and innovation, through robust engagement with policymakers to remove barriers and close gaps that impede innovation and creativity by women. They should capitalize on existing continental initiatives such as the African Continental Free Trade Area and the digital transformation agenda of the continent to build the necessary digital innovation and entrepreneurship skills. The African Union declared 2020 to 2030 the decade of African women's financial and economic inclusion, particularly with the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The African Union Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Strategy is a framework document to strengthen women's agency in Africa and ensure that women's voices are amplified and their concerns are fully addressed through, among others, effective implementation of legislation and proper financing of gender equality work. The African Women Leadership Fund is an innovative impact investment fund which aims to accelerate the growth of women-owned and operated funds and companies across Africa. We therefore call on member states and governments, policymakers, and stakeholders to bridge the gender gap and digital divide, as well as fund women-led SMEs so as to harness the potential of women-led entrepreneurship and self-employment in value chain development. We mean it that the women economic empowerment will lead to the transformation of the Africa we want.